You ever get that, like, I don't know, that feeling, when you put so much work into an ad campaign, but like the conversions are just, ugh.
Yeah, totally. You're just throwing money into a black hole.
Yeah, it is. And like you don't know what to do. But okay, so get this. We found this tool. It's called WheelO'Deal, and they claim they can fix it.
We've actually got like a bunch of stuff to look at for this deep dive. They have a video demo, some of their like marketing materials,
Yeah.
and even testimonials from people who use it. So we're gonna figure out, like, does this thing actually work, or is it just hype?
So like, is it the magic solution or just another marketing gimmick? You know what I mean?
Right.
Let's dive in. So what is this WheelO'Deal thing anyway?
So basically, WheelO'Deal is like this tool, right?
Oh.
It uses a spinning wheel to gamify your landing pages.
Wait, so is it like, are we talking gambling here?
No, not gambling. Nobody's like putting money down or anything. The idea is people spin the wheel and they can win stuff like discounts, free shipping, maybe even like a bonus product or something.
So instead of people just seeing, like a boring old landing page, they get to like actually interact with it and maybe win something.
Exactly. And it's like completely customizable so it matches your brand,
Oh, that's important. So it doesn't look, like tacky or out of place.
Exactly. It'll look super sleek, like it's part of your website.
I like that. So let's say someone clicks on, one of my ads. What happens next?
Boom. They hit your landing page and there's this awesome spinning wheel ready to go.
And that's where like the psychology of it all comes in.
Okay. We all love games.
Right.
And everyone loves that like instant gratification. Like you spin the wheel, you see what you win, instant dopamine hit.
So they're not just like scrolling and ignoring everything. They're like actually participating.
Exactly. Way more engaging, way more likely to, convert.
And they have those limited time offers too, right? So It's like, gotta act now or miss out.
You got it. It's all about that FOMO, the fear of missing out. Super effective stuff.
Okay, this is pretty slick, I gotta say. But who's it for, really? Is this just for like the big e-commerce players, or can, smaller businesses use it too?
I mean, looking at like all the stuff they gave us, it seems like a lot of different people could use it. Like obviously e-commerce stores that want to sell more stuff, but also like service providers, maybe they want more bookings.
Gotcha.
And even like marketers in general, anyone who runs ads and wants a better return on their investment,
Yeah, because everyone wants better conversions, right?
Exactly. And get this, they even say it can help with lead generation. Like people give you their email address for a chance to spin.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so you're capturing leads and they're getting a chance to win something. Everyone wins.
Okay, you've convinced me. I'm intrigued. But like, why this tool? Why WheelO'Deal specifically? There's got to be a ton of other marketing tools out there, right?
True. But this one, it's like, I don't know, they really seem to get it. Like they emphasize how customizable it is.
Okay.
Like you're not just stuck with like their generic template or something. You can really make it your own.
Yeah, we talked about that. Like you can match it to your branding and stuff.
Right. But it goes even deeper than that. You can like even change the odds of winning each segment on the wheel.
Oh, wow.
Like you have so much control over like the entire user experience.
So it's not just about like throwing a spinning wheel on your site and hoping for the best. There's actual strategy involved.
Right. And the rewards themselves, like they can be anything.
Yeah.
Discounts, sure. But also free shipping, bonus products, access to exclusive content.
Oh, I see. Like a software company could give away like free trials of their premium features, or a boutique could offer a style consultation or something.
Exactly. So you can really like tailor the rewards to, your specific audience and what you're trying to achieve.
Another thing that stood out to me, they talked a lot about mobile optimization, and that's like so important these days.
For sure. They said it works like flawlessly on any device. So it doesn't matter if your audience is on their phone or their computer, they'll have a great experience.
That's huge. You don't want to lose potential customers because, your site's a mess on their phone.
Absolutely. And they said it's like super easy to use too, even if you're not, a tech person.
Did they say like drag and drop interface or something?
Yeah, something like that. They made it sound like really intuitive.
That's good because I'm definitely not a coding whiz. Oh, and they mentioned like analytics too, right? So you can see how it's performing.
Oh yeah, tons of data. They said you can track like user behavior, engagement rates, conversion rates, the whole 9 yards.
So you can really see what's working and what's not. I mean, it really seems like they've thought of everything. I'm pretty impressed so far.
Me too.
But, there is one thing that's, I don't know, kind of bugging me. It's that whole secret key thing for the free trial. Like, yeah, it creates that exclusivity, makes people want it
Exactly.
more, but it also, like, implies that there are limited spots available, right?
Yeah, one of the things we read actually said they are like intentionally keeping the user base small for now.
Hmm. Interesting strategy. But it makes you wonder, right? Like, is it just about keeping it exclusive, or is there something else going on?
That's a really good question, and it's one we should like dig into a bit more. What else stood out to you from like the materials and stuff?
I think, like we were talking about before, I'm really interested in how much they emphasize customization. It seems like a big deal to them that you can really tailor it to your specific brand.
Yeah, that is interesting. And it's not just about the look of it. Like we said, you can tweak the odds, the rewards. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it seems like you have a ton of control.
Totally.
Okay, so they're keeping the user base small, at least for now. What do you think they're doing that?
Well, and like you said, it definitely makes it feel more exclusive. Like not everyone can get in on the action.
Right.
But I was reading one of the articles, and they were saying it also helps them like maintain a higher level of quality.
Quality.
Yeah, like with their customer support and so on.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Because if they have too many users all at once,
Mm-hmm.
it might be hard to, keep everyone happy.
Right, right, I can see that. And it probably helps them, prevent the tool from becoming, like, too common.
Yeah, exactly. Because if every website out there is using a spinning wheel, it might not be as effective anymore.
It's like it loses its novelty, you know what I mean?
Totally. It's like any marketing trend.
Sure.
The early adopters have the advantage, but then everyone jumps on board and it's not special anymore.
Exactly. So it's a risk they're taking, but I guess it could pay off if they play their cards, right?
Yeah, and this way they can like really focus on getting feedback from their users and making the tool even better.
So it's like a trade-off. Less users now, but potentially a better product in the long run.
That's a good way to put it.
Thinking about this whole thing, I'm wondering about like the ethics of it all,
Oh, yeah, that's an important point.
because they're using like psychology and stuff to influence people's behavior, right?
That's true. They are tapping into things like, scarcity, yeah, and that instant gratification we were talking about before.
Right.
So I think the key here is like transparency.
Mm-hmm.
Like, are the rewards actually valuable?
Hmm.
Are they being upfront about how the whole thing works? Because if people feel like they're being tricked, that's not good.
No, definitely not. It's got to be like a win-win for everyone involved.
Exactly. And speaking of like the psychology of it all, we've been talking a lot about gamification, but what does that even mean, really?
Yeah, it's one of those like buzzwords that gets thrown around a lot.
Yeah, totally. But like in simple terms, it basically means using game-like elements to make things more engaging.
So like points, badges, leaderboards, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. Things that make people feel like they're, achieving something or competing, even if it's not an actual game.
Makes sense. And WheelO'Deal is obviously doing that with the spinning wheel, right?
Yeah, it's a good example of like how to do it well. The spinning wheel is directly tied to a real reward, so it feels, authentic.
Right, right. And it's not just spinning wheels, right? You can use gamification in tons of different ways.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Loyalty programs, contests, quizzes, even just like the way you design your website or app can be gamified.
It's about like making the whole experience more interactive and fun.
Exactly. And when people are having fun, they're more likely to, stick around and actually engage with your brand.
Totally. So even if someone listening is like, meh, spinning wheels aren't for me, they can still take away some valuable lessons from this, right?
Absolutely. Gamification is a powerful tool, and there's so many different ways to use it. It's all about like finding what works for your specific audience and goals.
Okay, so we've talked about the features, the benefits, the potential downsides, the whole gamification thing. What do you think are like the key takeaways for our listener?
I think like the main things is that WheelO'Deal could be a really effective way to boost engagement and conversions.
But it's not a guaranteed success, right?
Right. It has to be used strategically. And like we were talking about before, there are those long-term questions about the exclusivity thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, will it still be as effective in a year, 2 years, 5 years? We don't know yet.
True, true. But even if someone decides not to try WheelO'Deal, I think there's a lot to learn from this whole, gamification trend.
Totally. It's all about understanding your audience and finding creative ways to keep them engaged.
And maybe, just maybe, someone listening will be inspired to create the next WheelO'Deal, the next big thing in marketing.
Hey, you never know.
All right, before we wrap up this whole deep dive, there's one last thing I want to talk about.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so we've talked about all the ins and outs of WheelO'Deal, right? The features, the psychology, the good, the bad. We even went on a little tangent about gamification in general.
Yeah, we covered a lot of ground for sure.
But there's one thing I keep coming back to, this whole gamification thing. Is it like a fad? Is it just, the trendy thing right now? Or is it something that's like actually going to stick around?
That's a good question. And to be honest, it's something I think a lot of people are trying to figure out right now. Like, is this just a flash in the pan or is there something deeper going on here?
Right, exactly.
But, thinking about it, I really do think gamification is here to stay. Like, at its core, it's about tapping into these very basic human desires. The desire for, like, challenge, for rewards, for recognition. And those things aren't going to just disappear, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. So even if spinning wheels like eventually become, I don't know, yesterday's news, the principles behind them, the gamification part, that's still going to be relevant.
Exactly. The key is to, adapt, find new and innovative ways to incorporate those game mechanics, to keep things fresh and exciting for people.
So it's all about like keeping up with the trends, always be evolving, finding new ways to engage people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because what works today might not work tomorrow. Right. So you got to be willing to experiment, try new things, see what sticks.
So what do you think, like looking ahead, what are some of the new trends in gamification that we should be paying attention to?
Well, one thing that's really interesting is this move towards personalized gamification.
Personalized? What do you mean by that?
So instead of just using like generic game mechanics that are the same for everyone, you tailor the experience to each individual person.
Oh, wow.
Like using data to figure out, okay, what motivates this person? What kind of rewards do they respond to? And then like you build a game around that.
So it's like a custom-made game experience just for you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's like way more engaging, right? Because it feels personal, it feels relevant to you.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And it probably like way more effective too, right? If it's tailored to what you actually want.
Absolutely. And another thing that's like really cool is the way gamification is starting to merge with like these new technologies, like augmented reality, VR, all that stuff.
Oh, yeah, I've seen some of that. It's pretty wild.
Right. Like imagine a brand creating like an AR experience where you have to, I don't know, hunt for discounts in your own neighborhood, or maybe you solve puzzles to unlock exclusive content.
Wow, that's a great idea.
Right. So it's like taking gamification off the screen and bringing it into the real world.
So it seems like the future of gamification is all about like pushing the boundaries, right? Finding new and creative ways to use technology and psychology to engage people.
Yeah, I think that's a really good way to put it. And that's like what I find so exciting about it. There's so much potential, so much room for innovation. And even if like WheelO'Deal itself doesn't become the next, Uber or whatever, it's still a really good example of how marketers are starting to think differently about customer experience.
Yeah, it's not just about like selling people stuff anymore. It's about creating these like memorable, engaging experiences that people actually enjoy.
Totally. And when you can do that, the sales will follow.
Right. So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a thought to chew on, something to think about. What if, instead of just blasting your message out to the world and hoping someone pays attention, what if you could create these like interactive experiences that actually draw people in, make them want to engage with your brand, discover what you're all about?
Yeah, and what if those experiences were like actually fun?
Right. Fun and rewarding. And maybe, just maybe, you'll be the one to come up with the next big thing, the next WheelO'Deal, the idea that changes everything.
Who knows? The possibilities are endless. Just remember, keep experimenting, keep innovating, and most importantly, keep playing the game.
That's a great way to put it. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into WheelO'Deal and the world of gamification. It's been a blast.
My pleasure. Until next time.